Sometimes we get our positions of our panelists wrong, but I broadly believe that in favor of the ordinance is Khushbu, DMK leader and social activist also. We're seeing a UPA NDA coming together here. Meenakshi Lekhi of the BJP, Vice President of the Mahila Morcha, I'm told, is for the ordinance. Very interesting that I'm seeing for the first time, perhaps in this year at least, UPA and NDA agree on something. Neeraj Kishan Kaul says the recommendation is made in a rush. He's a senior advocate of the Supreme Court. Dr. Subramanian Swamy of the Janata Party says, I'm neither for or against, but there are a few points left out by both the Verma committee and the government, and I'm very critical about those points. We want to know what you're critical about. But my first question goes to Kirti Singh, legal convener of the All India Democratic Women's Association, who is extremely upset with this ordinance. Now, I don't know if you heard Mr. Chidambaram today and Manish Tiwari at their news conference. They're really questioning what you're upset about indirectly. Because Kirti Singh, they are saying we have done nothing. Nothing, for example, to alter the precedent that death is the punishment in the rarest of rare cases. Tell me, all your opposition stems from this fact, isn't it? That the death penalty has been given for the rarest of rare cases.
Not at all. This is not our first point of opposition. Our first point of opposition is that many clauses which were suggested by the Verma committee have not been incorporated in the ordinance. And I don't know what the minister means when he says they have not been incorporated. I hope he means that they can still be incorporated, because marital rape has not been accepted as rape, because the 2012 Criminal Law Amendment Bill formulation of rape being a gender-neutral offence has been retained, whereas in 2010 itself, the government had said, no, it's gender-specific, which means that a man can accuse a woman of rape, and surely women's organizations are not going to accept this. And there are several other clauses.
No, one sec. On this particular clause...
I'm not terribly upset. I'm not terribly upset, but all that I will say is that far more needs to be done. The government should have waited for Parliament to start, and then it should have been properly debated, and then the amendments passed. What is the need for such hurry when nothing is going to happen tomorrow with this?
As you know, I of all people am no apologist for the government. But the argument of women's groups would have been, had the government done nothing and sat on it, you would have been the first person to say, Kirti Singh, that look here, the government again failed to deliver. Now my question there is, on the issue of marital rape, Kirti Singh, only provoking you a bit, Khushbu and Meenakshi Lekhi, how do you accept an ordinance so happily, which does not take Justice Verma's recommendation that marriage should not be considered an irrevocable consent to sexual acts, even perhaps against the consent of the wife? How would both of you, as progressive politicians and women leaders, accept such an ordinance? Khushbu first.
No, I have never said that I've accepted the ordinance wholeheartedly. Certain points which have been made out in the ordinance is what I have accepted. What it said, the 20 years of imprisonment, or rarest of rare cases, it's going to be a death penalty. What it comes to rape is what has been accepted, but I'm definitely not happy when it says a marital rape is not been put across in the ordinance. I think marital rape is something which every day a woman goes through in some house in our country, and I think which has to be put along with the other rape victims or the other rape.
Why has it been glossed over?
What we have been discussing, or what the Verma panel committee says, but I think marital rape should be included in that. Surprisingly, it has been left out. But as Mr. P. Chidambaram says, that it has not been incorporated because there are various opinions. The opinion varies, which means
there are many opinions on the death penalty.
We have
there are many opinions on the death penalty.
It can be, yes, but we need to put in No, opinions on the death penalty, that will come with the discussion about the death penalty, because I am absolutely for the death penalty and I have been very vocal about this from the day one. But I definitely feel marital rape also should be included in this committee, what we are talking about in the ordinance, because it is a very, very serious issue. A woman, even if she is a wife, if she has been forced to have sex, it is accountable to rape.
Yep. Okay. So I just want to get a sense, is everyone in the panel in agreement that marital rape, the recommendations of the Verma Commission should be incorporated? Does everyone agree that marital rape should be included?
Yes,
Dr. Subramanian Swamy, you agree?
I agree. Yes, I do.
Neeraj Kishan Kaul agrees.
So do I.
I don't.
Meenakshi Lekhi doesn't. I wonder why.
I'll tell you why.
Please go ahead.
Okay, you see, 70% of BJP's recommendations have been incorporated, and it is for this reason one has welcomed it, especially in view of the Verma committee, which tried to dilute the death penalty, which already exists on the statute books, number one. Number two, stiffer punishment of minimum 20 years, etc. was again BJP's recommendation in 2011.
No. Leave that part aside. Let's come straight to the point on why you.
Why will I leave that part aside? I'm sorry, Arnab. I have a right to complete my argument.
We are discussing marital rape right now.
Argument as to which part I agree. No. But I have to make an opening statement, and my opening statement is I welcome this particular ordinance, though I may be upset by the method which has been adopted by the government to usurp the recommendation which are of others as its own, which has completely malhandled the protesters and other institutions. So far as that aspect is concerned, I am in agreement and I am in disagreement with the manner in which the government has handled the whole issue. Now we come to marital rape.
Yeah.
I am coming to marital rape. I'm not against. I am saying marital rape as a lawyer, again strictly I'm speaking. You see, any intercourse can be made out into a rape, and especially in a relationship which has broken down. And that is a very, very severe punishment one is looking at. One. The second part is, if a woman is aggrieved by a particular act of a man, she is free to walk out of that relationship and claim divorce on those grounds and the ground of cruelty. Now, once you are looking at a scenario where a person is talking about cruelty, is not leaving the marriage, is not seeking divorce, wants to continue and send the man to jail, is an impossibility. That doesn't happen.
Subramanian Swamy.
In a situation where a person is aggrieved,
Subramanian Swamy, the man will be victimized.
Can easily walk out.
Meenakshi Lekhi says men will be victimized.
Yes.
She's saying men will be victimized.
This is capable of victimization.
Okay, Subramanian Swamy.
You see, the thing is that law is always for deterrence. And when a man and woman are together alone, the rape is an outcome of use of force. And man is a stronger physical person than a woman. And therefore, there should be some law which should be a deterrent, and which will make the man think 10 or 20 times. Now, there have been studies to show that the incidence of marital rape is quite high, and therefore, I think we need a law which is there for its use, and would at least put a fear of God into the men who use physical force against their wives.
Neeraj Kaul. Meenakshi Lekhi stands out today on this panel as the only person who says men will be victimized if you bring in the whole issue of marital rape.
Well, Arnav, every law can be misused. That's no ground not to have the law. The question is, there should be enough deterrence within the law, and you have to see a particular situation. Now, as India today stands, and the problem does exist amongst millions all over the country. So to say that there would be a chance for men to be victimized and thus criminalization of marital rape should not come in, I don't agree with. I think that's something which is urgently needed, and that's a very legitimate concern of all groups, that criminalization of marital rape should have got the attention of the cabinet and should have been included in the ordinance. Merely misuse of a law can be no ground to say that there should be no provision for a crime like this.
Don't you think, Meenakshi Lekhi, a lot of women watching today, a lot of women watching today, Meenakshi Lekhi, would be highly surprised by the position that you take. You head the Mahila cell of the BJP. One would expect one would expect you to stand up for the rights of women.
I do stand up for the rights of women. Doesn't mean I believe in lopsided society. And in this particular case, if a woman files a rape charge against her husband, the marriage is over. And if marriage is over, she might as well get out and live a different life and take a divorce.
1 minute.
Now, if a person is not able to get a divorce on the ground of cruelty, uses sexual intercourse. How will you prove?
Meenakshi Lekhi, your argument amounts to saying... Your argument, in other words, amounts to saying the following. I'm sorry if you're having a bad time in your marriage, and I'm sorry if you're economically completely dependent and your family is in this situation. I'm sorry if you have children who you need to rear. I'm sorry if you're remaining a wedded mother to these children is a forced situation upon you, and if you're sacrificing what you're going through. And I'm sorry if in the process of this you're getting raped every day. It is something that you will have to live with. You can choose to get divorced and fight for alimony in some court.
This is not what I'm saying.
That's exactly what you're saying.
Exactly what I'm not saying. This is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is
I am giving you a situation. Give me a counter.
Give
me a counter. No, let me give you a counter.
I'm giving you the counter.
No, I'll give you a situation. Let me give you the situation.
I'm giving you the counter. No. Let me complete to what you have already spoken. And my counter to that is, if a woman is in a marriage which is a bad marriage on account of sexual perversion, she has every business to walk out of that marriage. And if she files criminal charges against the man, the marriage is over as it is. No, she can't punish the man. She can seek damages. She can walk out. She can do what she wants. But as long as she is in a marriage, allow me to complete. Allow me to complete, Ms. Singh. Don't interrupt when I'm speaking. I am sorry, don't interrupt when I'm speaking. A rape is a rape. If there is a sexual intercourse and there is a consent to sexual intercourse, every sexual intercourse cannot become a rape. You cannot do that.
Meenakshi Lekhi, take my situation. Okay, Kirti Singh, you didn't take my situation. I can give you a situation. Can I give a situation? I have a situation. There is a woman, she's without a job or any source of income. She has many children and she's the responsible partner in a relationship. Her husband is an irresponsible alcoholic who will not take any responsibility for the children. On top of it, he will force himself upon his wife against her desires. In that situation, apply your logic, Meenakshi Lekhi, and don't tell me this is an extreme case. Ask yourself today, in how many homes in India does this happen? Ask yourself in how many homes this happens.
I will tell you.
Yes.
I'm telling you. Now, by your logic, the man should be sent up for life imprisonment under the law.
No.
And if the man is sent up for life imprisonment under the law, you think she will be able to bring up the children?
Kirti Singh,
you think all this will happen?
Well,
the question to that is she should take a divorce, walk out, and invoke the Domestic Violence Act.
Yeah.
Keep him away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get the state
without a roof on her head and facing
claim.
Kushbu.
She cannot.
Here they are.
Come on the Domestic Violence Act.
Yeah, 1 second. We have two responses.
The right to live.
We have two
Arnab, allow me to clarify.
I am giving you a perspective
Domestic
today.
Violence Act. Yes, please understand the perspective. She can get the man out, get a protection order under the Domestic Violence Act, keep the man away permanently. She can get the roof over her head and right to residence.
So in turn for having a roof under her head, she must get raped every day.
Who's saying that? You don't understand getting a protection order and keeping the man away? You don't understand this? Is it that difficult to understand?
Where the lady is impoverished and she cannot afford
the counter is sent to jail for life.
And you know the legal and judicial system in our country is like.
I think you are... No. Legal and judicial system is something you need to understand with the practicality of the situation. By making
I have a fair understanding of how bad the situation is for women across this country.
Sending him up for life imprisonment you're not achieving the purpose.
I
If
take
the
to,
purpose
it's not you versus me.
Get him off.
It's not you versus me. I get Kirti Singh. Kirti Singh, 1 minute,
But you're
please.
not understanding.
I
Arnab,
understand
you're not
very well.
understanding.
I am only
Sabotage.
asking questions. Kirti
I
Singh
think
is
there
wanting
are
to say
many
something.
issues.
Kirti Singh.
No.
I'm saying, Arnab, that there are a lot of issues at hand. Marital rape, I think the panel broadly agrees that a person should be punished for committing rape in any situation. And that we all agree
Yeah,
with.
yeah,
We
yeah.
recognize
And then the
that
marriage
there
should
can be
get over.
violence in the law. Just a minute. Now let me speak. We
why not?
recognize that there can be violence
Rather than living
within
in
the
such
marriage.
I think it's
We
best the
punish
marriage should be
people
over.
who perpetrate that violence. And but there are other issues involved. There are other recommendations of Dharma committee which haven't been accepted. And I think, we should also concentrate on that.
I'll come to that.
And one of them was on the Armed Forces Special
No, I'll
Powers
come to the
Act,
death
for
penalty.
instance.
I'll come to the death
amendment
penalty.
in that.
I'll come to the death
Yes.
penalty.
And
What, Kirti Singh, death penalty.
Ji.
Isn't Chidambaram completely right when he says, what have we done? Death is a punishment for many cases. Now, rape along with murder, even the Supreme Court says that death penalty is given in rarest of rare cases. And once if you rape somebody and leave the person in a vegetative state or kill the person, what more can be rarest of rare than that? I don't understand where your criticism of that is coming from.
No, I'll tell you something. As the law stands right now, Edward's position is that you have death penalty for the rarest of rare cases of murder. And therefore, for instance, in this Delhi gang rape case, it will apply. But our point is that we did not want to suggest death penalty for rape itself, because what we feel is that in a country where rapists are not even getting punished for 3 or 4 or 5 years, when you have a minimum of 7 and a minimum of 10, it is the certainty of punishment and certainly the severity also. So we had recommended that life sentence, for instance, should not mean just 14 or 15 years. It should mean the entire period of that person's life. And I think this would be the right track to take. Death penalty has been only given in some 18 cases. But if the population of this country sees that, people who are rapists, people who are committing crimes against women are getting punished, that the justice is speedy, that they are being given minimum and more punishments, then of course there will be a change. People will be scared of that. And
Subramanian Swamy.
There are many.
Subramanian Swamy, your comments on this firm position which is taken by many women's groups and human rights activists.
Well, I would say that some of the cases of rape where a grown-up man rapes a girl of 9 or 8 or 6, I think death penalty is essential. And it must be given, because this is not only rape, but it's also deviant behavior which we cannot tolerate. And in fact, that poor girl who's maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, she's really psychologically ruined for life. And I think the only deterrent punishment can be death.
No, but Kirti Singh, I want you to address Kirti Singh directly, because on this, I guess she's in a minority.
Yeah.
No, Kirti Singh says that when Justice Verma's recommendation is good enough, you can have an offence for your life.
I don't agree with that Verma's recommendation.
Kirti Singh, listen to
I think the government has taken the correct stand that it should be, in the rarest of rare cases, there should be a death penalty. And I would interpret, when somebody rapes a girl who is under 10, he should be given death penalty.
Don't you think, Subramanian Swamy, that will invite, the argument has been made that will invite many cases where, the person carrying out this assault or the crime may, in an attempt to conceal their crime, kill their victim. This has been put out.
Well, then in that case, he will anyway get the death penalty for murder.
Yes, exactly.
So you are actually, in that case, you are actually endorsing, are you endorsing Chidambaram's position, what he has said today? that he'll anyway get the death penalty for murder.
Chidambaram is an interloper. I am endorsing the government cabinet's position.
That's your point of view, and because you have a disagreement, long history with Mr. Chidambaram, I won't get into that on what you're saying about Mr. Chidambaram there. But
yeah,
Kirti,
so you shouldn't have brought his name.
Well, he was at the press conference, and whatever you think of it, the fact is that he was enunciating the government's position.
He can be in a press conference. So was Manish Tiwari in the press conference.
Yeah, sure. It was a cabinet briefing. I want to, Kirti Singh, that settles it. Since you agreed with Mr. Subramanian Swamy, you agree with his position, and in other words, you agree with the government's position. They have done nothing to alter the precedent that death is a punishment in the rarest of rare cases. You are making a needless issue of it, Kirti Singh.
No. What we
you
are
just agreed
saying
with him.
is that, as far as where murder is concerned, then death penalty is in the rarest of rare cases. But we had not said that. We have said that when punishment should be given, it should be for life. And when we say life, it should be for the remaining period of one's life, not merely for 14 years or 15 years.
I'm sorry, but what happens in the case of Aruna Shanbag?
And
what happens in the case of Aruna Shanbag, where the person is in a persistent vegetative state? What happens in that case?
I'm not disputing the fact that these are gross cases.
No, we are all in agreement that they are gross, but
we all feel like, we all feel terribly angry and terribly revengeful.
But Kirti Singh, it doesn't matter what we feel like.
But at the same time,
Kirti Singh, it doesn't matter what we feel like. The accused in the Aruna Shanbag case, got away with a 7-year sentence.
No, that was terrible. He should have got more than that.
So then you are reconsidering your position. Then you are reconsidering your position.
We are saying that there should be life imprisonment for these kind of cases, and life should mean life.
Tell me how
and should not mean just
tell me murder.
7 years or 8 years whatever.
You just said, agreeing with Subramanian Swamy, that if the person is murdered, that anyway they will invite the death penalty, right? Now my question to you, follow-up is, and tell me clearly, how is the state of Aruna Shanbag any better than death?
Maybe not, I admit
So then your argument collapses?
Maybe it isn't. No, it doesn't, because that is one case of its kind where a person has gone into a vegetative state. It's
one case?
Almost akin to death. It is akin to death. If that sort of situation occurs, perhaps we can discuss that.
NK Call.
We are not going to...
NK Call, I want to get you in on this. NK Call, on the death penalty. Yeah. Do you think the women's groups are overdoing their opposition now?
Well, as far as death penalty is concerned, whether in case of rape or otherwise, Arnab, it's always been something on which there have been very major differences of opinion. Personally speaking, I am for death penalty in rarest of rare cases. I'm all for it. Now, that's why I said these are issues which needed to be and have to be debated in Parliament. You just can't have ordinances on everything. Although time is the essence, you need to act fast. But my view was that after the Justice Verma Commission report came, we needed to debate possibly a special session of Parliament or otherwise, or in the forthcoming session. We needed to debate all these issues. But death penalty, will never ever get unanimity. It's an issue for times immemorial. There have been serious differences of opinion on it.
Subramanian Swamy, yes.
Now, yeah, well, there seems to be some confusion that because there's an ordinance, there will be no discussion in Parliament. There has to be a discussion in Parliament. Ordinance has to be placed before Parliament, and then Parliament has to pass it and enact it into law. There will be a full-fledged debate at that time.
Absolutely.
All that ordinance has done is that in the meantime, before Parliament meets, the law is already in operation, and the law can be revoked if the Parliament doesn't pass the ordinance.
My last point today, I have 3 minutes on this debate. My last question to Kirti Singh.
You don't think it through. That's the problem.
My last question to Kirti Singh. Kirti Singh, you wanted a situation where there is no need for government consent to take up rape cases by armed forces?
Yes.
You wanted that? How would you ensure that groups which are inimical to India's interests do not misuse that in Jammu and Kashmir?
How would you ensure that?
Groups inimical to India's interests don't misuse it in Jammu and Kashmir.
No, I'm not just saying that. If a woman makes an allegation, obviously the police has to investigate it. Obviously, prima facie case has to be made out. And obviously only then can, the action be taken. I'm not saying that just because a whole group says a rape has been committed, it should be held to be committed. I mean, it has to be case by case. But to ask that sanction be taken from the government
Subramanian
for, prosecuting a case of rape is too much.
Subramanian Swamy, here's the situation. The allegation of rape will not be dealt with by a army court. It will be dealt with by an ordinary court. There will be no government consent required. And in fact, senior officers responsible in these cases will also be held accountable. So, one minute. What's the flip side of this?
But not as if they have committed rape. Not as if they have committed rape.
Yeah, sure, but they will.
There's no flip side. I fully support this.
There's a question of command responsibility.
You support?
I fully support that any military person committing rape, if it is prima facie established in an investigation, he must be tried in a civil criminal, a common criminal court, not in a military court.
Meenakshi Lekhi disagrees. Last view.
Yes, I disagree because I think court-martial is much faster process, and by court-martial the person can be subjected to whichever punishment, and the fastest punishment can be assigned to that man.
Okay, Khushbu?
Arnav, we have been discussing so much about rape. I think there's very simple logic I have. When you have an animal who goes crazy, even a street dog who goes crazy, you put him to sleep. The animals don't have sixth sense, but a human with sixth sense, if he can commit such a gruesome act, such a heinous act when it comes to rape, and I completely agree with Dr. Subramanian Swamy when he says if there's a rape of a minor, I think he deserves nothing else, but this madman needs to be put to sleep. So you need death penalty for the rapist. And I think when it comes to the court, people in the military, I think you need to bring them to the civil court. You cannot have everything in the court-martial. You need to bring them to the civil court. You need to have the charges against them for a proper rape, and then give them the punishment the way it has to be. Meenakshi Lekhi does have a point.
What is apparent to me? What is apparent to me as I end the debate?
You need to bring it to the public.
I'm completely out of time. What is apparent to me?
To the public, after court-martial, these proceedings should be made public, and whatever is the punishment assigned, that should be brought to the notice.
What is apparent to me?
And whatever rehabilitation or victim requires,
what is apparent to me
is
that this is not a settled issue. It will be debated in Parliament. There has to be space for different points of view, including some which Kirti Singh has expressed, Subramanian Swamy, NK call. I am sure it will be debated, perhaps even amended in Parliament. Thank you very much for joining me on this News Hour debate tonight. Thank you very much indeed.